I'm going to show you how to build this super simple villager breeder right here. We're going to start out in creative mode, then we're going to go through some mechanics and where and how you might place it, and then I'll show you mine working in a real survival situation, so you know this isn't just something that I've done in creative mode and then gone, hey, this works, so therefore everyone will love it. First up, you're going to want your villager breeder to be at least 100 blocks away from anything else that might be considered a village, so make sure that you have moved away or in a nice fresh position before you start doing any of this. I'm obviously going to build mine probably just over here so I can kind of see where I am. Then we'll go from there. You want your, as you can see on my little glass version here so you can see everything, you want your chamber where we're going to keep the villagers that we're going to breed in to be 1 block above where we expect to extract our villagers from. Now there are going to be some other situations. We'll go over that in a second. First up, let's just go ahead and place 2 blocks. Doesn't really matter what the blocks are, but those are in theory going to be the 2 blocks that our villagers are going to go onto. Now we can then go ahead and surround those 2 blocks on all sides because that is what is going to retain the villagers in there and stop them from escaping. Once that's done, obviously this is going to be where we insert the villagers from, so you will need to get your villagers above when it comes to transporting them. We'll go over that a little bit once we go forward. Whichever side it is you want to extract them from, you probably want to just break the lower blocks like this, so that now, as these 2 villagers breed, the child villagers will come out and into the water. This is basically going to be our delivery system. I quite like doing this 2 wide. You could do 1 wide, but if you are going to try to extract them in like a weird glitchy way, which I'm going to show you guys in a second, you want the water to be going in this diagonal direction here. This is going to force the villager into the corner. Okay, this is important. You guys will see this in a moment. Now, depending on your delivery system, this can be as short or as long as you want, so long as your water is going to be flowing all the way until where you want them to be delivered to. So a water source block will flow 8 tiles. Okay, if you break the 8th tile, it'll actually then flow even further than that, so you can go ahead and you can make that as long as you want, which is actually what I'm doing. I'm having mine delivered directly to a village, or in this case you want to come back a few blocks. So you can see here 1 2 3 4 5. Then you're going to come out for a few diagonal blocks and then create this little corner right here. This is important for if you want to have one of these buttons that puts a minecart there, and then the baby villager will actually just directly appear in the minecart. So pretty useful to just know that we have the 2 delivery systems here. But to keep things simple for right now, I'm just going to assume you guys don't mind if we just make the easy version right now. Now we have the place that can hold the villagers. We want to have the sides of the water be at least 2 high so that the baby villagers can't get out of our little tract here. And then what I like to do is to put 2 trapdoors on the inside of the area where the villagers are going to go. This is going to make the baby villagers believe these are full blocks, and then they are going to step into the water and be flushed down. They can, however, stand on these little edges of the trapdoors. So what I'm going to do for the impatient among you is put on some pistons. On the outside, we'll go ahead. On the outside, we'll put buttons on there. And that's going to make it so that if the baby villagers decide they want to try and be difficult, we can just press the button and that's going to push them off. The same thing is also done right here. So you see how this piece of water right here goes straight against this block, but if the child decides not to move, it's not going to come out. So if you are using this system as well, you may want to put an extra piston in there, and that's going to allow you to push that one out and into the collection chamber, which, as you can see, I've done on this one right here. I don't know why I put a farmer's block right there. I can then push baby villager over, and that's going to come into this corner, which is what we want to create. So with that done, there's only 2 things left to add. That is beds and villagers. All we need is 3 beds. We need 1 for each of the villagers that we're going to have inside of there, and then a 3rd one that the villagers are then going to be allowed to breed with. Now, I don't know if they've detected that one already, so I'm just going to go ahead. We're going to break those, or even we'll just put one on here like this. So as long as they're all nice and close, they're now going to be connected to that. You are also going to need a way to get up here and to feed them. Anything as simple as you want, including a couple of blocks that allows us to just walk on up here and get up here to feed the villagers. Something that I found works nicely, in my opinion, is to put a glass pane right here. So if you put a glass pane right here, we can't walk through it, but we can actually drop food through the gap, which is going to allow you to feed the villagers. So in my case, when I go and do this over here, I can go ahead, I can drop some carrots through the gap. Let me at least show that they will breed. There we go. So drop the food through, they're going to breed, the baby's going to go in the water, and oh look, two of them, they want to get stuck in the same place. Well, we don't have that. It goes over there like this. Whether or not you've got the corner or you've got the straight one, your baby villager is now in the water and is being transported down. If you're using the direct water mode, you can take this to wherever it is you want to your village. Note that, as you saw before, every 7 blocks you want to go down 1. You may want to calculate this. If you're going like 700 blocks, you're going to have to go up by 100. So depending on how far you're going to make that, that could be quite far. Which means if you want to have some form of controlled way to be able to get these out of here, the good thing to do is to install a dispenser in the corner. So in terms of this one right here, we switch this block to a dispenser. And then as you can see, we put a bit of railway in front. And because these are being pushed into this corner, all we now need to do is place mine carts into the dispenser and push the button. And voila, we have child in minecart. From there, you can either go ahead and put a boat out and then break the minecart, or you can extend the railway to wherever you want and then just push it along. So as you can see, this design can be built pretty simply. This is probably the one that's most universal, right? Because from here, this one is literally just come on up, build it over and around, then just breed your villagers that way. So nice and easy, and in my opinion, very nice to disguise, which is what I've done with mine. Let's go take a look at my villager breeder that I'm going to be using for the series then. I have already started on where my first settlement's going to go. But because I've got this nice big hill, and I've got a plan to have quite a few settlements, we're going to have like one down there. I'm going to put a library up on there. We're going to do like a monastery-themed library, and a few other bits and bobs. I decided I was going to use this hill to disguise my villager breeder. So if we look in these trapdoors right here, all the way down there we have some villagers. Now you obviously don't want to drop them down there without water, so I actually went down, installed some water down there so that they wouldn't take any damage when we drop them in. And then as you can see, I built this little house thing. Basically, I dragged them over on a boat, built the house around them, and then dug the hole down so that they would end up down there. Looking a little bit closer at the villager breeder then, we have what is the equivalent to the exit chamber right here. I decided this would look a little bit like a log or mineral flume, so that it looks like we have the resources going down to my village, but in fact it's going to be villagers that we send down there. And then to the side of it, whichever side you want, doesn't really matter, but on the right hand side for me, this is where I go ahead and enter into the breeder. I haven't actually put any glass in just yet. And if I want an extra villager, all I need to do is put a bed down, give them some food. Then we'll have the love hearts in no time, as you can see. Now, the danger with this is that because the children are going down the flume, and that is already declared a village down there because I've already got a villager down there, we could end up with a literal stream of villagers just going down towards the village. So we do need to be careful with this. So once I'm finished, all I need to do is take the bed up and put that into the chest that I'll leave next to it so that I can always have as many villagers breeding as I like. I'll just push the switch just in case. And then we'll find that the villager is on its way down to its brand new home. I haven't actually finished its house yet, so this one's probably going to die, but you guys are worth it for the sake of demonstrations. When it comes to getting villagers then, you can see we're going to want a few things. We are going to want to lead. I usually get mine by defeating the wandering traders that come to visit you. They're annoying guys in blue. I still haven't really detailed anything about them in the series, but you'll have seen them. They have 2 llamas with them. Just defeat a few. They'll drop leads. You need to get the leads from them. At least 1 bucket of water, obviously enough food to survive with, that's always essential. You will definitely 100% want a boat, you're going to see why in a second. A bed, just in case you need to sleep. If it's any more than like 100 to 200 blocks away, you will want to definitely bring like enough blocks to build like a mini house with. That way, if you run out of time and it becomes nighttime, which it isn't for me right now, we're looking pretty good, you will definitely want to be able to like pop up a little hut so that you can take cover, put the bed down, sleep the night away so that you don't get too harassed whilst you are bringing your villagers over. As you see right here, this is something that I had to do. I'll take this down in a bit. Built myself a little hut when I was kind of running away from some droughts. So once you find a village that you want to take some villagers from, all you really need to do is put the boat at the villager's feet. If you push the villager into it, then he's going to get stuck into the boat. You definitely want to be taking 2 villagers before you set off. As well as that, I like to make sure that I've fed them so that they will continue to breed, because as we are dragging the other 2 out, provided that the chunks in the village are still active, we should then be able to keep the village populated for when we want any more villagers from the village. When it comes to moving them then, this is where you're going to want your lead. You can attach that to the boat. Okay, I'm going to do this as an example with just 1 villager, and we just need to move slow. Now you're going to see when there's something like this, it's not going to like the little ledges, even the tiny ledges on the path. Now if you don't want to straighten the path out all the time, the way to get them over is to give it a bit of water. Excuse me, bit of water. And that'll lift the boat slightly and allow us to get it over. Man, that went really badly. Hey, we've got breeding villagers already. Look, so there we go. Already replacing the villagers that we've taken. The same thing is true when you want to come up a ledge. Just drag it up using the lead and the water. And we're going to do that all the way back to wherever it is, that you want to put your villager breeder. Now, one of the cool things is, I don't know why this is the case, but it doesn't let you run off. But if you jump up, once you've gone up a few blocks, you can see it'll actually jump the boat around a little bit. So the steep inclines are actually usually easier than the flat ones, which is kind of weird. And once you're away from the paths, everything becomes much quicker, as you can see. Somewhere like here, I might drop some water, stop somewhere nice. And you're going to want to take your villager all the way to wherever it is that you want your villager spawn to be. As you saw with mine, I took mine all the way up the hill over there that you can see just in the distance, so that we can actually start planning out our settlement, which is going to be a source of a lot of things, including emeralds, experience, iron, and diamond gear.